Civilizations are not built only through institutions, laws, or economic systems. They are also shaped by character. Throughout history, philosophers argued that morality is not simply about isolated actions, but about the kind of person one becomes over time. This presentation explores the architecture of character, the philosophical structure of virtue, discipline, and moral development. Unlike utilitarianism or deontology, virtue ethics does not begin with rules or consequences. Instead, it asks a different question: what kind of person should we become? Virtue ethics focus on habits, moral character, and the cultivation of excellence. Morality becomes less about isolated decisions and more about the long term formation of the self. The central architect of virtue ethics was Aristotle. According to Aristotle, human beings achieve fulfillment not through pleasure or wealth alone, but through the development of virtue. For him, ethics was deeply connected to human flourishing, what he called eudaimonia. This idea can be understood as living a meaningful and fully developed life. Habituation. Aristotle believed that character is not formed instantly. Virtue emerges through habituation. People become just by practicing justice, they become courageous by repeatedly confronting fear correctly. Character, therefore, is constructed gradually through repeated action. In this sense, ethics resembles architecture, a stable structure built layer by layer over time. One of Aristotle's most influential ideas is the doctrine of golden mean. Virtue exists between two extremes. Courage, for example, lies between cowardice and recklessness. Generosity exists between selfishness and wastefulness. The virtuous person learns to balance between emotion, reason, and action in a harmonious way. Virtue ethics also emphasizes practical wisdom, what Aristotle called phronesis. Aristotle believes that moral life cannot be reduced to universal formulas. Real situations are complex. Practical wisdom allows individuals to judge circumstances carefully and apply virtue appropriately within changing conditions. Character and society. Virtue ethics extends beyond the individual. According to Aristotle, societies themselves influence moral characters. Families, educational systems, political institutions, and cultural values all shape the habits of citizens. A healthy society, therefore, requires not only laws, but the cultivation of virtuous individuals. Strengths of virtue ethics. One of major strengths of virtue ethics is its realism. Rather than treating morality as abstract calculation, it focuses on human development and personal growth. It recognizes that morality involves emotion, habit, discipline, and social experience. Virtue ethics therefore presents ethics not merely as obedience, but as self transformation. Critics argue that virtue ethics sometimes lacks precise moral rules. Different cultures may define virtue differently. Others question whether virtue's character alone is enough to solve complex political and ethical problems. Without universal principles, morality may become too dependent on interpretation. Despite these criticisms, virtue ethics remains influential today. Modern discussions about leadership, education, social responsibility, and personal discipline frequently reflect virtue based thinking. In an age shaped by technology, speed, and mass communication, questions of character remain deeply relevant. The architecture of character is internal. Laws may regulate behavior externally, but virtue ethics attempts to shape the inner structure of the individual. Habits, judgment, discipline, and moral identity. This makes virtue ethics less concerned with isolated actions and more concerned with the long term construction of the human self.